Super guys, welcome to the leadership training that we normally do for My Wealth. And today is the 19th of February. Can you believe time just goes by so quickly? And so I was sitting here thinking today, what can we talk about and share today? So I want to know from you guys, do you have any questions that you would like to ask me? Marius, welcome. Sean, welcome. So guys, do you have any questions? Some of you are on the mastermind programs and the professional programs and that. So do you have any questions with regards to clarification, understanding, anything that you would like to ask me before we go any further? Pauline, welcome. No, nothing. All a bunch of, okay, so should we just leave and go back to bed, go watch TV, go do nothing? Okay, so what I would like to ask is a specific question, and that is, if now Sean van der Berg will know what I'm talking about, and maybe Sean Lemerick might know what I'm about to say. Chris, you will know as well. In the previous companies that I did a lot of training curriculum for, we did what we called GVG, or I don't know what the other one was called even anymore. But anyway, so we had a system that enabled people to follow, and in the back office they had step-by-step training, that kind of thing. Okay, and who I would like to know from you, if I had to create that system and you did not have to pay extra for it, all right, and we ran it through the My Wealth portal, what kind do you think it'll work? So it would be places where, for example, a person who wanted to get started would know, if they couldn't get hold of you, would know exactly what to do. So step one, this is how to register someone, this is how to do this, this is how to do that, step by step, how to videos, each video not being more than 7 minutes. And then of course, how do you just basically, Sean, you'll remember all the kind of things that we had in the back office that help people. So what kind of, thank you, Michelle. Awesome. Okay, definitely needed. I love to hear those. Right. So I'm going to be speaking to Sean, and I are going to sit tomorrow. I'd love a duplicatable system like that. Sean, those are the perfect words. Why do you just take them right out of my mouth? Absolutely. Okay, so Sean, I'm glad to hear that. And all right, so I'm spending some time with Sean tomorrow, and we're going to map out a whole big, like literally mapping out everything and how we can, step by step, this is what you do, this is what you say, this is how you do things, but literally make them and categorize them into, for example, okay, here's your first day, get start. In your first week, do this. In your first month, do this with you. And if we all followed that duplicatable system, it should actually work for us. I'm glad to see you guys are excited about that. Super. All right, so if you think of anything specific that you believe you would like to see in short video format, that you find that you're tired of repeating yourself, please just drop me a WhatsApp and just say to me, hey, I think we should try cover this, try cover that, because we're trying to map up the whole thing. And obviously it'll be dynamic, so we can add and change videos as and when things happen. For example, this week, this is what we're doing for receipts, okay, so that we don't have all this confusion that is coming through all the time. So Peter's asking, I had a lady interested, but just before the meeting she said she does not believe in paying to make money. Okay, that's interesting. Paying to make money. All right. Okay, that's an interesting, I haven't heard that one before. But yeah, so she doesn't believe in paying to make money. I'm just trying to think how we could combat that one. And that would be, well, you've got to pay to lose weight, you've got to pay to participate in anything. And you should have asked her, have you never heard that little old saying that it takes money to make money, which means you need to have money and to invest in order to make money. Okay, so exactly, Chris, how do they go to the gym? How do they go to the gym from there? How do they actually take the time out? And I mean, you can't go to the gym for free, and it takes money to make money. So say, well, okay, tell it to stay broke. My joke for the day was, too much admin and copying slips and uploading them. I know, Sean, hey, when I heard that one, I thought to myself, you know what, you need to stay broke, really honestly, because if it's too much admin to create a little bit of a lifestyle. One of the ladies said that to me, and I said to her, well, how old are your children? And so she said, no, well, one is 9 and one is, and I said, can they take selfies? And she said, I said, do they know how to use your phone? She said, yes. I said, can I take selfies? And they said, yes. I said, so why don't you allocate them, if you're going to get 20% per slip, why don't you give them R1 a slip and however many slips they upload for you and complete it. And we just train them how to do it, and they can do all this for you and they can get extra pocket money. Don't you think that's entrepreneurial? And she was like, oh, okay, never thought of that. But needless to say, she didn't. No, she did actually join. She did actually join. Now she's doing her own stuff. She did start her daughter off, and then obviously her daughter thought it was not worth the pay. So yeah, I told her any business has startup costs. Absolutely. I mean, all businesses have startup costs. I mean, it's like, that's what I'm like blown away by. Like, you don't want to pay money. I'm like, well, then don't go buy a coffee shop because you've got to pay money to make money. Don't go and buy, I don't know, a clothing shop because it doesn't really matter what it is. Yeah, Sean, tell her to just stay broke if she doesn't want to, like, I mean, nothing, you know, nothing that's worthwhile doing is without effort. So, oh my gosh, can you believe people? Right. Okay. Any other questions? And I'm so glad we like the duplicatable system, which would be nice. And we're going to run it through the MyWealth portal, which means we don't have to pay for it, which is super, super. Sorting and sifting. Absolutely. Absolutely. Keep just going through. Hey, well, okay, this is not for you. That's fine. I'll chat to you in 6 months' time. I'll keep you on the cards and we'll see if your situation has changed. And then I'll show you how mine has. So, I find it quite fascinating. And the excuses people come up with, and actually the bottom line is the excuses are bigger than their whys, because they don't have a why, so they're still trying to work out. How's it, Paula, Sharon, Arnold? Welcome everybody. So yeah, it's just that they don't understand what their why is, and they don't even understand what they want to, you know, what they want to do. So that's why it'll always be bigger than them. Okay, so wow, so true. Our function is to be an educator, listen to the objection, and we need to teach them how to see past the blockage. That's all we do, Chris. That's all we do. But it is about, yeah, and some people, you know, I've just been chatting to a couple of people because it doesn't seem like it's a worthy kind of job as per se. They don't want to see it seriously, and so I've just had one or two as well that have just, and I just said to him, you know what, this is, you know, when somebody's like that, you just quickly take it off the table for them, and the moment you take it off the table, they panic, and so they say, well, don't you want to pursue me? Don't you want to convince me? And I mean, I'm not trying to convince you. This is clearly not for you. And hey, you know what? I'll chat to you in 6 months' time, and let's see how your financial situation has improved. And if it has, please, I'd love to hear what you're doing. Because then maybe the next 6 months after that, I can do what you're doing and create some more wealth. In the meantime, this is what I found, and this is what I'm doing. So I'd love to have a coffee with you in 6 months' time, and just see where you're at. So it'll be awesome. And then just dial us to chat to them in 6 months' time. They probably won't take your call, but anyway, so interesting. Okie dokie. Right. These are weird earphones, I have to tell you. I'm testing them out. They actually Anthony's earphones, but they're like helicopter things. But anyway, we'll see how we go from here. Okay, so sitting down today, and I've just been like really this actual whole week, it's just been a chaotic already, and I feel like overwhelmed. So I thought, well, if I feel overwhelmed, what do I do when I'm overwhelmed? And you know, most of us get into that situation where we're totally overwhelmed, and how do we handle overwhelm? And because each one of our personalities are so different, we handle that overwhelm in a different way. So, for example, if you were a melancholy or a high C, you might just completely disappear and nobody will know where you are and wonder what you're doing, and suddenly you go into silent mode. And then, of course, if you're a D, you just come out the bushes and go and beat whatever you can up around you, okay, and try and force. It's like the hitting everything with a hammer to make it work. and if you're I like myself, you literally move paper from one side of your desk to the other side of the desk and wondered why you actually moved the piece of paper, and then suddenly the pile is over here, and then you don't like the pile, so you're going to move it over here, but you've done absolutely nothing with it, and an hour's gone by, and you're still looking to say, what must I do? So, and I particularly don't like lists. So my personality is like, I live with lists because I know that I don't like lists. So we need to work out how is it going to be that we actually manage our days. So good old me, good old faithful. Here I've got my calendar book, and it's time. And I always have this on my desk. So I have my month looking at me, so I know exactly what my month looks like, where I'm going to be doing something, where the big courses are, the days that I'm not going to be in my office, that kind of thing. So this is March's one. You can see I've already blocked out all the times that we're going to be down in Durban, what we're going to be in Durban with the element, what do you call it, ribbon cutting, and then of course the element event that's going to be happening. Looking forward to that in Durban. So it was important to block out. So what I would like to suggest is that felt like I went through the trenches last week, absolutely much. And there's so much that we're doing, and so much results that we want. And then we've got our day jobs. And how do we actually structure this? How do we put it all into place? So I've got my month in front of me, and I work month by month. So I like this folder. It's a nice solid folder. I got it, I don't know where I got it. I've had this folder for so long, but you get this little book that fits into it, and it's got everything that you need. And so there's my month. My month is mapped out. So I cover that whole year. I put in most of the dates in for the whole year. So I would suggest you get hold of all the dates for the My Wealth conferences in your area, block them out, and look and put it there so that you know exactly what's happening from there. And then the next thing that I've gone and done is, obviously I work with a diary, and you've got your day by day diary. Now, what's important with your day by day diary is that most of us, I have found, I just cannot work electronic, and the reason why I can't work, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I've tried to funny, Trello works beautifully for me, but when it comes to actually moving my day around and planning my day and trying to balance the things that I need to do for the day, you've got to sit down and say to yourself, what are my priority activities? So if we're going to work, we need to know, okay, so this is the time I'm waking up. This is the time that I need to leave for work. This is the time I'm going to get back from work. This is my breaks that I have in work. And I actually posted something on my Instagram today, and it was an article. It was just, let me just see if I can quickly pick up my Instagram here. It was just simple little thing, and it actually made me realize, and what made me think of this was, I phoned Doc Ant, and okay, take a break. That's what the article's called, take a break. And I just found some words and said, take a break. And what made me think of posting this was, quite honestly, most of us actually don't take a break during the day. We just want to keep going, and we forget to take a break. And when I phoned Doc Ant at 3 o'clock, I could hear that there was something wrong. So I said to him, like, okay, is everything okay? He says, no, I'm lying down on the floor. And I'm like, what are you doing on the floor? Did you fall? He says, no, I'm just taking a break. So it made me think that I've actually got my phone rings at 2 o'clock every single day, and it just says to me, take a break. And it is important for us to plan that, because if you don't take a break, we're actually going to get ourselves into a situation where we're just trying to roll all the time. And in your day, you need to take a break. So I chose 2 o'clock because, as you know, Peter, it goes to my cloud time, and I just need to take a break to reboost my energy. So and Doc answers 3 o'clock. So it was quite funny that I'm phoning him at 3 and he's lying on the floor for his 30-minute like power nap, okay, in his office at the Lifestyle Galaxy office. So that's where he was today. And it just reminded me how important it is for us, especially if we're doing the kind of work that we're all doing. And that is, how do I map my week? How do I make this real for myself? And I thought to myself, I'm doing something so naturally that I always do, but I've never thought, hold on a second, I need to actually to teach people exactly how to do that. And I'm just looking for my document. I'm sure it's called 33 hours. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. 33 hours. 33 hours. Or 33 slots, actually. Because we all have 33 slots in a week that we need to actually manage our business in. And if we don't manage our business in those slots, what happens is we're going to end up burning ourselves out in our business. There we go. Sorry, it's not 33, it's 22 priorities, 22 priority time slots that you have in a week. And if you map this out accordingly, you'll work it out. So I'm just going to share screen quickly. Okay, so here you can see I've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Then I've just got on a little spreadsheet. And it is seriously just 22-hour time slots. And when you look at a week like that, I used to print this out. As you can see, I've had this one for years now. But now it's, I just do it naturally. But if you look at yourself and you said, okay, if I wanted to, I call it a 15-planner goal sheet because that's an old Amway thing. But if you wanted to have a look and said, okay, I need to expose my business to 15 people this week. How would I get 15 presentations done this week? And I have got 22 priority time slots that I could do this in, okay? And if I actually work it out, how could I get those 22 priorities time slots in? So if I look here, this could be 1, 2, then I've got our business presentation, so that's 3, 4. Then I could go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I have got 10 people I can expose my business to within the week. That's this week actually going here. Now, some people could do it at between 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not awake, so this is my schedules from 10 o'clock in the day. But if you had to say that we know that during the week, I'm not available in this time zone. So block out the time zones that you're not available and then go and have a look at the rest of your time zones. So if I know I've got 10 between 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock at night, some of us go 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. That would be 3 hours. So this timing here would be determined by your availability. So you can work out what are my 22 priority time slots that I might have. So then I've got another, so that was, we said 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Then here I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 and 6 is 12. Okay. So there's another 12 between Saturday and Sunday if I'm very serious about building my business. If I don't work on a Sunday, I could then take the whole Sunday one out and then minus it by 6 and out to have 16 time slots. So, sorry, that would be from 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. And you can actually get 15 people done in 16 hours. So you've got, or you could be smart, and if you did, let's say, 3 people per session every hour here, instead of doing one-on-ones, you did 3-on-ones. And so knowing exactly what your week can look like, you can actually honestly say, I can expose my business to 15 people in a week. If you do 15 people a week, you're bound to, if you've got a ratio, now I'm pushing you out there, if you had a ratio of 1 in 15, so in other words, every 15 people that saw your business presentation, whether it's you just doing a small little one, talking to people, just somehow exposing your business, then you should be able to close 1 person a week as an absolute minimum. But the thing is, we need to say to ourselves, what is my sign-up ratio? So if my sign-up ratio is 1 in 15, then I need to expose it to 15. If my sign-up ratio is 1 in 10, then I need to expose to 10. But if I only want to do 2 people a month that I want to bring into the business, then I can split it over that time frame over a 2-week period and say, okay, fine, this 2 week I'm going to do 1 in 10. I have to expose 10 people. I'm going to close 1. The next 2 weeks I'm going to do 10 people again, and I'm going to close 1 again. So it made me think again of let's be strategic around our time frames, because so often we have a goal and we want to get a goal, but we forget to actually allocate the time. And if I want to become a better network marketer, I need to make sure that something included in my time is in actual fact my personal growth within the network marketing industry. So when and where am I going to listen to 30 minutes of that? where am I going to do it? Am I going to do it in the car? Am I going to stick in the Eric Worre's GoPro book, which, as I say, I always have it on my desk, the GoPro book. It is in audio version. I've actually got 4 audios here. Yeah, so you get it in audio. You can put it in your car and listen to it. You can actually download a free audio as well. You can put it on your phone and just listen to it. But these things need to be allocated. And if we don't allocate it, what happens is we come to the 19th of February and we wonder, what have we done? And so today was one of those days for me. Although I've allocated my day, what happened is, well, although I've allocated my week, I last week got so busy come the end of the week because I had the core workshop on, and then I had to do something Friday afternoon. So Fridays is normally my days that I sit in the office and I plan the next week, which is allocating my time slots, and I didn't do it. So come Monday, it was like I allowed anything to disrupt my day. So it was like, okay, can you come and meet Shoal tomorrow on Tuesday? And I'm like, because I hadn't allocated, my day was open, I said, yes, sure. So everything, and then again today, it was like, okay, have you made your phone calls? And I looked at the end of the day and I was horrified to see that my day wasn't allocated. It's not blocked out because I didn't go and do it on a Friday. So again, it shows you how simply and how easily our days can be totally disrupted. And it's frightening when we actually look at our lives and say to ourselves, hold on a second, why are we allowing this? How come are we allowing these things to disrupt our day? And so I find that it's quite easy to get disrupted. And have we allocated, for example, the number of phone calls am I going to make, my hour I'm going to make? And I love what Todd Falcone calls it, the power hour. And so we shouldn't try and sit on the telephone all day long. Allocate yourself an hour to just phone a few people and connect with those people on a voice while, and call that your power hour. And everybody's power hour will be a different time. And each one of us will have different, where we are best in our power hours. Now, I found personally, the type of people that I'm phoning, for me to do a power hour from 5 o'clock, between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock in the evening, I never get hold of anybody. And yet I have people that do get hold of people. And then I realize it's a different clientele. So if you're looking for peer and above males, they're available at that time. But if you're looking at peer and above females, they're not available at that time. So again, depending on who you're going to phone will determine when your power hour is going to be. So I found that most women are available, and that's who I mostly speak to, are mostly available and take calls anything between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. So for me to make phone calls that are outside of 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock, that just doesn't work for me. But that's me, and I don't know why. It's just obviously the type of woman that I'm dealing with. So I do my personal growth sort of first thing in the morning and get that done by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then 9 o'clock to 10, I just organize my life and all the rest of it, make sure I know who I'm going to give a call. 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock is when I do my 2-hour power hour. Okay, so to power hours. All right, and that's when I make my phone calls. And then the rest of the day is after that, between 9 and 10 is mostly my WhatsApps and Telegram and dealing with the emails and all those kind of things. So it's very strategic. And so it's emails, WhatsApps, because that's all done. And most people have started sending me SMSs from like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, no, I'm only looking at it at 9 o'clock. Okay. So people get used to me only answering between 9 and 10. And then again, I like to do straight away after my 12 o'clock phone calls, immediately between 12 and 2, I'm back onto whatever it's going to do, preparation for these calls, preparation for whatever it might be, and also, again, my emails and my WhatsApps and things like that. And then in the afternoon, when things get quiet for me, that's when I do my social media. And I like to do social media, and then, of course, I try clock off around about 6 o'clock. And then at 2 o'clock, I have my break, my 30 minutes break. I'm always like time out, head down, lie on the bed with the Yorkies or whatever else I've got to do, just get away from my desk, make some coffee, just to not be around my desk area. And then, of course, I do the social media side, and then I have a rest when Anthony comes home, because I actually have to feed him, believe it or not. So I have to fulfill a duty there, and that's to try to give him a food. Shane, my daughter asked me last night, so what are you giving Dad for dinner? She was chatting to me at that between 5 and 5:30 when Anthony was coming, because my daughters even know that they're not going to get me on a phone call prior to 5 o'clock in the day, between 5 and 6. And I thought, gosh, you know what? It will be really nice for me to give Dad for dinner tonight. And I looked at my schedule and I thought, okay, I can only fit an egg on toast. So I couldn't fit anything else, and I'd forgotten completely to go out and buy food. I hadn't done anything. So I know that Mondays is sorry, my office day. Tuesday I'm out, Wednesday's my office, and then Thursday I'm out, Friday I'm in the office again. So I only shop on a Tuesday, Thursday, and I couldn't do it on Saturday because Saturday we had the core workshop, and then of course we have all the other the evenings, and all the evenings are full from there. So kind of like just block it out in your diary. You can actually see P, personal growth, then it's phone, so it's emails, it's phone calls. Let's see what that one says. Yeah, that's phone calls. And then that was just my, what do you call it, MM, mastermind. Sorry, I was like, what's MM? Mastermind. Then my 2:30 break. Then SM is social media. And then I have that break that I can speak to my children. They're allowed to phone me between that time. And then 6 to 7 or 6 to about 6:30, I try and switch off as well, just to not do anything, try to grab something to eat in between that. And then, of course, this is Tuesday where I had 8:30, which is my own back to basics. And, if you block your day out like that, I know it sounds tedious, but if you want to get results, it is a matter of saying it's about creating that discipline and that consistency that goes within that. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to end up literally one day going into the next day, into the next day. In fact, I used to have it, and taken it to the office, but on this wall behind me, I used to have the year calendar, a massive year calendar behind me on the wall here. And he's taken it to the My Wealth. He hijacked that for My Wealth, so it's now in the My Wealth office. And so I used to have the year calendar, I used to have the month calendar, and then I do have the day calendar. So it sounds funny to have 3 calendars. Why would you be so tedious? But you need to see your business through different views. And not all of us are helicopter vision people. So Doc Ann, for example, is really helicopter kind of vision guy. So for him to do a day-by-day diary, it's too much for him. Whereas seeing a whole year up front is too much for me. So that is why I need to have it in front of me. And even I find that when I look at my month ahead, I find it closes in on me and I get overwhelmed. So every time I need a helicopter view, which is what I did literally just before hopping onto this one. And this is why I thought I'm not going to do the other thing that I prepared. I thought I need to speak to you guys about how important it is to actually know what you want to do on a daily basis, because we hear this often. Sean, you will know it. Chris, you will have heard it as well. Paula, you would have heard it. Brenda might have as well. Liz, you'll definitely have heard it as well. And that's that 23-3. And it's great to hear I must make 20 connects on Facebook. I must make 3 phone calls, 3 follow-ups, and that kind of thing. And it's great to know that. But when do I do it? How do I fit this into my life? How do I fit it into my day? And then I remembered my 22 time slots and thought, I've been doing it for 10 years that I do it naturally. And I forgot that it is a simple thing, is so to say, go and have a look. If I would like to expose my business to 10 people this week, where would my 10 1 hours be? And it sounds like an awful lot, but if you're strategic in doing that on the Friday the week before, or as John Maxwell says, every single Sunday night, he would sit in his office for 15 minutes and he would say, okay, fine, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to plan my week. And he didn't leave his office on a Sunday evening. So he'd have go to church, he'd have his family day, he'd have his family time, his family would rest in the afternoon, and before he went and spent family evening time, so that was round about that 4-5 o'clock in the afternoon, he would sit down and just give himself 15 minutes to, he calls it the 5 and 5. Exactly, Sean. It's that plan, do, review, 100%. So he would literally sit there and say, well, what worked for me this week? What didn't work for me this week? And you'll see it as big as daylight on my board. Oopsie, I'm now just messing up everything here. Behind my flowers over there, okay, you'll see is my debrief. I've got it on flip charts. I told you I have flip charts everywhere in my office. I've just messed up everything. There we go. It's all back up. Sorry, I should have moved the cable as well when I did that. So over there, it's got, what happened this week. So I always myself. So I sit back here and I say, okay, fine. So what happened this week? What worked for me? What didn't work for me? What did I learn from this week? And then, of course, what can I do better? So when I'm looking at my week, now this week, when I redo that, I'm going to say, so what happened? What happened is life happened with me last week, and I wasn't zoned in. And because I'm trying to get everybody else with all the coaching curriculums and everything sorted out and trying to help Charlotte and them create this duplicatable system so that you guys can actually benefit from it all, I just suddenly realized I didn't do my business. And how quickly that happened, and it just went like that. And then I wasn't ready for my own business in the beginning of this week. And so it can happen to each and every single one of us very, very quickly if we don't plan ahead. So that plan, do, review is so, so, so important. It's vital. And when is your time for you to do that? So I, when I make my phone calls in my power hour, I know exactly when are my slots that I'm going to visit those people, or what is my next step, how am I going to do that, those kind of things. So I don't know if this has been helpful in any way whatsoever. So if it has, please type in for me what you found refreshing. It's refreshing that Michelle doesn't know what to do in a day, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so what is something that you've just heard? I don't know if any of my practical stuff has helped you in any way whatsoever, but if you could type it in and just say that's something that you've realized that maybe you could do this, or change this, or allocate this. Definitely I'm not the only one. Yay, Sean, at least I'm not the only one either, which is awesome. Okay. Indeed, this last week, I love it. What is on your plate? Plan, learn, achieve, thought, experience. Sean, that's another really cool one. Okay, so what is on your plate? So it's to plan, learn, achieve, thought, experience. Very, very, very helpful. We all need to, Paula, you know what? It's not an easy thing to plan. And power hour, Brenda, yeah, Paula, if you plan that power hour, it's so cool, because I'm only going to power hour from 10 to 11 and stop. Like literally stop. You're like right, set the clock, let it go, and just start making the one phone call. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if you make 2 phone calls in that power hour, if you do 6 phone calls in that power hour. When the alarm goes, stop, walk away and say, I've done my power hour for today. If I want to have another power hour, I can go for it again later on. But I would suggest 1 power hour in a day, because it just gives you or even 1 power hour a week. Give yourself a power hour. Can you imagine if you did a power hour with your team? Okay, that's also something that's really cool, is if you actually did a power hour with your team. And that takes us back to the mastermind, when we were looking at how many different prospects that we possibly could have, and where do we find our prospects, and how do we make those phone calls. So the power hour, Brenda's most important. It has to be physical phone calls. It's not the WhatsApps, it's not the anything else that goes from there. It's literally that phone call. And that's the most important thing, because it pushes us to make those phone calls. And it's not phone calls to order pizza, and it's not phone calls to chat to our children. It is phone calls to speak to a prospect, speak to someone and just ask them, or someone ask them how they are, what they're doing, that kind of thing. So that's what's nice. So even if you plan 1 a week, or you can get 3 or 4 of you together, you could do a Saturday morning power hour and make that power hour nap. Yeah, that was my one today. I was like, Doken's actually lying down now. And then I looked and I thought, oh, it says 3 o'clock, and I forgot I actually forgot that at 2 o'clock I went and lay down with the dogs, but I lay on the carpet here and was trying to chill out. But I didn't fall asleep. And I was like, oh, he actually fell asleep. That's so cool. I wish I had done that today. So yeah, power hour naps, eh? But we're talking about power hour phone calls. Like, I find people so draining lately and need to regroup and change my state. Absolutely, I can only do a power 30 minutes for now. Absolutely, then that's perfect, Michelle. Or what you do is still make it a power hour, but instead of trying to do a lot of people, what you do in your power hour is you phone one person and then you get up away from your desk, you walk around. So in essence, you're still doing the same amount that you would do in 30 minutes, but instead of compressing it to 30 minutes and exhausting yourself emotionally, what I would do is make one phone call, get up, take a breather, change your state, say what you got to say about the person who was on the phone call. Please just make sure you've actually hung up. That's a really good thing to do, okay? Especially if they were rude to you or something like that. And then do the second phone call. So stretch it out so that by the time you've finished, you're not emotionally exhausted. You're actually fired up. Okay, you're actually really fired up. And if you find that you're in your power hour, you're maybe having a few too many negative phone calls, then WhatsApp somebody who is that you're sort of close to and kind of on the same journey as you are, and just say to them, hey, listen here, please, could I just do a call with you because I've had too many negative calls. Please, can you help me have a good call? Then what you would do, Mish, is what I do is I would then phone Doc and I'd SMS him and say, listen here, I need a positive phone call. I need a high energy phone call because I need to get my mind and my state into that there are good calls. And he'll say, yeah, sure. So I say, have you got 5 minutes now? Let me know when you've got 5 minutes. And he'll say, give me a thumbs up. I quickly give him a call. Hey, Dr. Ant, it's Michelle van Tonder here. You haven't heard, you don't know me. And I totally do a pitch on him. And then he knows that because I've extended to him and said to him, listen, I need a positive phone call. He's not going to test me. He's not going to try and be a bully me. He's really going to make it a positive call. He's going to ask me positive questions so that I can take my state on my phone call into a positive state. And it's very powerful to do that before you make your next phone call. Okay, so stretch it out over that period of time, but allow yourself to breathe in between. Okay, yeah, pick a upper person. That's definitely what's it, Peter Pumpkin Eater, what Pepper Pickle Puff that one, yeah. So it's a picker upper person. So guys, yes, you need a picker upper person because I like that. We're gonna a pup. Okay, so we all need a pup, and you need to use your pups. Okay, because that's what we're here for. That's the team we're here for. So let's say, for example, one of you guys needed a peer and above phone call, let's say, for example, and you said, hey, Mish, I've had some really bad peer and above phone calls. When can I do a role play call with you? And someone might say, yeah, sure, what kind of role play call do you want? You say, no, I don't want a tough one. I just want a really nice peer and above phone call. And then when you phone me, you do your pitch. It's not like, hey, Mish, how are you? Okay, can we get on the call? No, you get on the call as though you're so straight away it would be, hey, Paula, hi, it's Michelle van Tonder here. You don't know me at all, but our common friend that we actually have is Sean van den Berg. You might, don't know if you recall him at all. And then I'd wait for her to answer. Yes, she recalls. So fantastic. Listen, when I was chatting to Sean the other day, Sean indicated that because I'm looking for high caliber entrepreneurs, and he said, hey, well, then you have to speak to Paula. So Paula, I don't know, are you a high caliber entrepreneur? And she's going to say, yes, because she doesn't want to say, no, I'm not. Of course, she's going to say yes. She's going to say yes. And in that querying voice, she's going to say, and I say, oh, fantastic. Then I definitely got the right person on the phone because I'm looking for high caliber entrepreneurs. By the way, Paula, on and off the off chance, I cannot promise you anything. Do you keep your options open to at looking at other things that to make money outside of what you're currently doing? Yes or no? And she's going to say, well, maybe. It depends on what it is. Because those are the answers that she's going to give me. She's saying, yes. Fantastic, Paula. So, Paula, what would it take for you to look at a project outside of currently what are you doing? What kind of things would you be looking for? And then, and then we start a conversation. And that's the kind of high profile kind of conversations you have. And then she starts feeling a little bit better. That actually went quite nicely. And then she remembers her lines again. She's not, and then we start all over again. So, and then I'd say to her, okay, fine, make one more phone call to one person, exactly what you've just done for me. Maybe what you should do is maybe just don't say that, say this, and then go make that phone call. But promise me when we get off this phone call, you'll make another one. And she'll say, yes, you'll go make another one. And so it is important, guys, we have to role play these things with people. And so it is important for us to understand that we're not on this journey on our own. And we're not trying to fight this on our own. And the more you can role play, when Ant and I first got into network marketing, we used to role play all the time. Okay. So, and it's not the nurse role play, okay? We used to role play our objectives, okay? So I would say to him, exactly, Michelle Spicy. I'm even blushing here now myself. But anyway, the role play that we did was, he would say to me, is it a Ponzi? And then I would have to answer really nicely the question to that. And then I would say back to him, only the people at the top make money. And he would answer me, I don't have time. And we used to role play. That's all the time. So this is one of the reasons why these things roll off us, because we role played. And I would highly suggest that even in your teams, have an objection, let me rephrase this nicely, an objection role play evening or day or something like that. So that's what I would suggest. Okay, super. So thank you for sharing what you have learned. I know it was practical, but because I battled with it today, I just thought, hey, maybe someone out there is battling the same way as I was today. So I'd love you guys to just get ourselves back on track with prioritizing our business. And if we don't prioritize it, it's going to just run away with us. And then before we know it, we're doing other things and we're not actually doing what we would like to do in our business. So anybody like to say anything, ask a question, pass a comment? We've got a couple of minutes. Otherwise, again, just share with me what you've learned over the last few. Very accurate, absolutely, Pete. And you know what? We know how to schedule. We know how to time. We know how to prioritize. And again, what's on your plate? I love that. What's on your plate? Plan, learn, achieve, thought, experience. Love it. Okay. So shows that you're an awesome and normal person. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. I really do. My day is so instructed but busy. I needed this. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I really appreciate that, because yeah, we are busy and we're so busy with other people that sometimes we forget to block out the time that we need to build our business. And again, I was just reminded of that this week. And you know what? It's because I got lazy last week. I'll be honest with you. I was like quite happy. And then I went and saw that Martin Mester ranked up to executive manager. I thought, you see, if I hadn't rested last week and ended the week off and thought, okay, I'm going to rest. And you know what it was? It was because subconsciously I knew that Element was going to be down for 72 hours. So I kind of like, yay, 72 hours, like, okay. And then what I went and did, I then went and ran a competition in my team, and all about activity. And then I got so involved in helping them and answering their WhatsApp questions and all that kind of thing, that I didn't do any activity for myself and I didn't plan. Then it was the core workshop, and it just shows you, boom, 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 7 days, a week later, you've done nothing in your business. And Martin Mester goes and ranks up to executive manager. So I'm going to have to do something before the end of the month. Okay. I'm actually 2 weeks behind him every rank. And it's like, damn, here he goes 2 weeks before me again. So he's got me fired up again. So let me do that as well. Okay, make time to rest, otherwise you'll burn out. 100%, Pete. So important to make time to rest, and you've got to do that in your time frame. Like I say, I live by my phone. I don't know if I showed. I think it was, I can't remember who I actually showed, but I know I just showed somebody the other day. If I go to my clock, even my husband laughs at me. I mean, look at how many different alarms that I've got going on. Let me just move that up. Okay, that's just the different alarms in the day that I've got ringing to remind me to do things. So it's like, okay, this morning was 3:45, Todd Falcone, then 7:30 is my get up, 8 o'clock have breakfast, 10 o'clock is post your gratitude post before. So it's your personal growth, and then post my part of my personal growth is to post a gratitude post, of which I didn't do today. So it shows you get out of routine. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody else like to add or share with us what you would like to that you've got out of this? Absolute pleasure, Sean, and thank you for your honesty. I really appreciate Sean van der Berg. Thank you for your honesty, and the other guys that have sent me messages privately. Thank you so much for being open and honest about where you're at, and that you needed this. So I'm glad it helped. So yeah, so it helped me. And I went to the big picture guy before I got on here. That's what I was saying to you. And I pulled this out and I said, help me prioritize. And he said, okay, where are you at? Give me your big schedule. And he went, okay, fine. This. And then we tapped this off and I thought, oh gosh, I've got to do this in order for this to happen, I need to do this. And then I could go day by day by day, and then I'm back on track again. But I had to go to the helicopter man. You can ask him. At 6 o'clock to 6:45, I was 6 o'clock to 7:45. I was with him and mapping it all out and going through a whole month. And then he said, okay, fine, Michelle, you've forgotten about this. You letting this slip. You're letting this slip. You're letting this slip. And then it was right. Great. Now I need to go back and focus. And now I feel so much better because I know that tomorrow when I wake up, my day is going to go according to a structured plan. And unfortunately, being the sanguine that I am, I need to be very, very structured. Okay. And I need tools to help me, to tell me to follow up on what I should have done. Okay. So always blown away, Chris. So much experience. Thank you for your structuring our minds to focus on improving our goal. Absolutely. So work it out. Need to organize my day. Absolutely. And focus. Gerard, absolutely. Guys, I'm going to stop speaking for the next 10 minutes. So, and then we're going to get onto the, I just remember what am I doing next? Yes, it is the business presentation. Do you see? I need it written down, and it says here 8 p.m. and the clock's going to go here, 8 p.m. business presentation. So guys, I look forward to it. Thank you for being on here, and I will get the recording out to you guys later. I hope it helped in some way. And just remember, prioritize your goal and work out how many people you want to close this month. Then work it out into how many exposures you need in order to close them. So if you need to close 2, you need to expose it to 10 people. How does 10 people relate to how many I'm shown in a month? And how many does that relate to? And how do I fit them into my weekly time slots? And when am I going to make my calls? Hope that makes sense. Guys, thanks a lot. Chat soon. Cheers. Cheers, guys. Pleasure.